Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show. Real talk, big opinions, and fearless conversations. From the front lines of politics to the latest in pop culture. From breaking sports headlines to the stories that move the world. Nothing's off limits, and nobody's holding back. Arrington Gavin is here to break it down, build it up, and keep it all the way real. So turn it up, lean in, and let's get into it. This is the Arrington Gavin Show.
What is going on, my friends? Welcome to another great episode of the Arrington Gavin Show, your go-to spot for sharp insights, bold opinions, and unfiltered takes on the biggest stories of the day. Whether it's politics, sports, pop culture, or the latest buzz, look, we're diving deep and keeping it real, so please do me a favor, kick back, stay informed, and get ready to join the conversation. On today's conversation, I'm thrilled to welcome back my good friend, Mr. Lennie Friedman, former NFL star, business executive, and also election reform advocate, but he's also vice chair of the North Carolina Forward Party, and I'm excited to have him on back to the show. The last time I had him on, we actually did like a pre-Super Bowl special, pre-Super Bowl prediction show, which was a lot of fun because, you know, again, Lennie has had a wonderful, awesome career in the NFL, 10 years in the league. So I'm like, okay, I think that he's the right guy I can talk football with, right? And so we had a great time, and man, look, that last Super Bowl, by the way, was historic. You know, shout out to the Seahawks, man. Let's see if they can do it again. I don't know. We're gonna, you know, me and Lennon, we're gonna talk some NFL predictions later on the show. We're also gonna talk some politics too, because as you know, we have this major redistricting battle happening across the nation. We've had it going on here in my home state of Virginia, the Commonwealth. We have it going on in Tennessee, Texas, Louisiana, happened in North Carolina, Missouri, Florida. Everybody is talking about redistricting. And one thing why I talk a lot about it, and y'all know my take on it, I hate redistricting. I hate gerrymandering. Why? Because in my opinion, it takes away the power from the voters. And how can I continue to preach to the listeners, the viewers, that, you know, your voice is in your voice is in your vote. We are hiring the elected officials. Elected officials work for us. Their salaries comes from taxpayer money. So at the end of the day, they work for us. How can I continue to share that with you all? And then it's like, okay, moments like this happen where, well, I get ignored, I get overlooked. They could care less about my vote because they're over here saying, well, let's make this change this congressional maps so that it'll be in more favor for the Democrats, or let's do this so it can be more in favor for the Republicans. That's not the way it should be out here in these streets. So we're going to talk about redistricting. We're going to talk some NFL predictions. I'm also want to get his take on a recent story of New York Giants quarterback Jaxson Dart, who was at a recent Trump rally in New York. He actually introduced President Trump, and it kind of raised some caused some controversy, even not just in the sports world, but in his own team, because some of his teammates disagreed with his appearance at that rally. So we're going to talk about it and more here on the Arrington Gavin Show. As always, my friends, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule. You know how to tune into the Arrington Gavin Show. We drop new episodes weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, and wherever you get your podcast, you can listen in to the Arrington Gavin Show, Spotify, Apple, what else? iHeart. Just to name a few, we're available on all major podcast platforms. But also shout out to our radio affiliates. Shout out to KSHP 1400 AM or 107.1 FM out in Las Vegas. That's right, one of my favorite cities in the world. You can listen into the Arrington Gavin Show Fridays at 8 p.m. Pacific time. Again, that's only on KSHP 1400 AM or 107.1 FM. So again, if you're on your way to a sporting event, a concert, or hoping to get lucky at the casino, on your way, you need to turn your dial to KSHP. Listen to yours truly, because here we bring great conversation with amazing guests as well. And just, you know, conversations that matter, right? Also, I want to shout out my fam out in New Orleans, WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about. You can listen in to the Arrington Gavin Show weeknights at 7 p.m. Central Time. Again, that's only on WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about. And I also would like to shout out, because, you know, we're continuing to branch our grow our audience and continue to spread the narrative here on this show. I want to shout out our friends over at GOATverse TV. That's right, GOATverse TV. It is an independent streaming platform, a platform that you can download the app on your App Store, Google Play Store, Roku, or Amazon Fire TV. So again, that's GOATverse TV. You can check out past episodes of the Arrington Gavin Show on there as well. But more importantly, you know, you can check us out on YouTube. Everybody's on YouTube, right? Yeah, you can always take the time out your schedule and watch the show. We have also other content clips on there. Do us a favor. If you have not subscribed to our channel yet, please do so. We have a goal to hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So share with the friend, share with the friends, share with family. I truly appreciate it. You know what's funny, y'all? I literally just had popcorn before this, before coming on the air, and I'm trying to talk, and I have these kernels that are literally like, oh no. So if I sound like I'm like fumbling, it's because I literally have a kernel stuck in my throat. My bad, y'all. Oh, there we go. Anyways, yes, subscribe to our YouTube channel. I truly appreciate it. We are growing each and every day with new subscribers, and yeah, couldn't do it without you all. But as I mentioned, I'm excited because on today's show, we have a special guest. As I mentioned, we have former NFL star Mr. Lennie Friedman, who's also, again, a business executive, election reform advocate, and also vice chair of the North Carolina Forward Party. And he's also a member of the Rank the Vote Advisory Council. So, again, I always enjoy having him on, hearing his take when it comes to politics. And look, he's right next door. He's one of our neighbors. He's in North Carolina, so it's always good to have him on. But y'all are in for a treat. Do me a favor before we go to a commercial break. Again, subscribe. I'm gonna keep saying it. Subscribe to the channel. If you happen to watch this video right now, give us a thumbs up. It helps with our algorithm. And if you're listening to us right now, wherever platform, especially if it's a podcast platform, give us a thumbs up, or just give us a comment. We love the engagement. Let's go ahead and take a quick break here. You're listening to the Arrington Gavin Show. Don't change that dial. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks.
Every man has a story to tell. Your ambitions, your achievements, your legacy. Your suit should reflect that story, crafted precisely, designed for impact, and tailored exclusively for you. We work with only the finest fabrics, luxurious wools, silk, linen, and blends from world-renowned mills in Italy, the UK, and India. These fabrics are the foundation of custom suits that exude elegance and stand the test of time. But a suit isn't just about fabric, it's about fit, and it's about confidence, and it all starts with you. When you work with me, you'll receive a personalized consultation, whether in person or over Zoom. Together, we'll explore your vision and discuss your needs. And we're gonna bring your ideas to life. My journey as a designer includes apprenticing under New York-based designer Clavon Leonard, showcasing collections at New York Fashion Week, Algeria Fashion Week, and the prestigious Baltimore Met Gala. That experience is what we bring to every suit we create, from weddings to corporate events and everything in between. We specialize in crafting one-of-a-kind suits for life's most significant moments. Dapper Luke has been recognized as one of Baltimore's best menswear in 2023, and I was honored to be one of the 10 designers selected for the prestigious Baltimore Met Gala. With over 900 satisfied clients, we proudly serve Virginia Beach and Baltimore, bringing world-class designs to these incredible communities. We don't just make suits, we craft confidence. Your suit will fit your body, your style, and it will tell your story. Book your free online personal consultation today. Visit www.dapperluke.com.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to.
And we still in traffic.
I don't look familiar, do I? Not in this seat.
Hey, what's that you listening to?
Here to host today.
Hey, turn it up. Yeah, that's that new GOATverse app. I got you.
So y'all want to know where the goats are? They're off on the sidelines.
Looking for fresh, relevant content wherever you go?
What was the name of that he said?
Introducing GOATverse TV.
GOATverse, that's what it's called.
The free streaming app that brings you the best podcasts, current events, and thought-provoking opinions all in one place. Download it now from the Apple Store or Play Store. In GOATs, we trust.
I'm Aaron Phillips. Join me Saturdays at 12:30 as I host The Voice of 757. I'll share news, events, happenings, and the people that shape the 757. That's The Voice of 757, Saturday afternoon at 12:30 right here on Sky 4.
610, number one pick, 16 seasons. College Player of the Year, All-Rookie Standout. Joe Smith built a career on grit, consistency, and showing up.
Greatness isn't just about the game. It's about how you show up every day. Rugged Evolution now offers body care products for every man, because not every man wears a beard, but every man deserves care. Greatness doesn't fade.
It evolves. Rugged Evolution Beard Care. Every beard deserves to be legendary, and every man deserves care. All right, ladies and gents. So look here. Tonight, we're tackling the latest headlines from quarterback Jaxson Dart stepping into the political spotlight, to the heated redistricting battle shaping the future of Congress, to the key North Carolina races that could have national implications. We'll also get my good friend Lennie's thoughts on the idea of a UFC event at the White House. And because, well, you can't have a former NFL lineman on without talking football, we'll wrap it up with things with some NFL predictions for the upcoming season. Whether you lean left, right, or somewhere in the middle, our goal is simply to have an honest conversation, ask obviously tough questions, and maybe find a little common ground along the way, as we all should on a regular. Without further ado, I'm excited to bring on my good friend, Mr. Lennie Friedman. Lennie, what's going on, boss?
How you doing, Arrington? Glad to be back, man.
Man, great to have you back on. Look, I've seen, obviously I always follow on social media. You've been extremely busy doing great stuff along with the North Carolina Forward Party. I've been actually tuning into the town halls that you had with former governor McCrory.
McCrory. Yep.
Yeah. So I've been following along, man. So I see you guys are doing great stuff out there.
Great. Yeah, he was so he came and did a whole probably hour and a half town hall with us and had some really good discussion points. One of the things he talked about, and he talked to us as a Republican. He said, both Republican and Democratic parties are preventing competition, right? They don't want competition. They are very happy with them just trading terms. So, they prevent third parties like the Forward Party from getting on the ballot in North Carolina. They are very happy when they're in power, redistricting to keep themselves in power, just flipping back and forth. They are anti-competition, and we need competition. Competition makes everything better, just like in the NBA with our Knicks. Competition hopefully gets them a series.
Amen to that. See, thank you for acknowledging, because I've had a bunch of guests on that has yet to say, shout out the Knicks. First of all, greatest NBA franchise of all time. I'm gonna just say that right now. Is no team like no other. Is no arena like the Madison Square Garden. I'm not talking about that garden out in Boston. I'm talking about the Madison Square Garden. That's the only garden that I know. But enough with that. I don't want to go off the rails here, because I'm so passionate right now. We're looking pretty good right now in the finals. But I want to the last time you were on, man, we were talking Super Bowl. We were talking about predictions on the Super Bowl, which ended up being a great game, by the way. Shout out to the Seattle Seahawks and Sam Darnold, who was by far a journeyman in the league, and then turned out to be by far the hottest QB that season, and to finish it off. So yeah, that was the last conversation we had, was primarily sports. So now we get to do a little bit of both. We're gonna talk sports and politics. So I'm actually gonna start it off with this story, if you don't mind. So New York Giants quarterback Jaxson Dart, young guy. I think he became a rising star last season, just 23 years old. For a second, it's like the Giants, okay, I think they found their mojo, right? They had a great QB, smart, QB. They also had, actually, they started off with Russell Wilson, if I'm not mistaken, and then they end up going with Dart. So Russell, who just announced he's retiring, which, hey, kudos to him. 14 years, has Super Bowl winning QB. So I know he's going to be doing great stuff outside of the league, but they looked at Dart saying, hey, look, this is the future. He's ready for this position, and now he is our leader, right? Jaxson Dart, I think, being a rookie, in my opinion, I think he did a rookie mistake in a sense. He found himself at the center of a controversy after introducing President Trump at a rally in New York. It was actually led by Congressman, I want to say Mike Lawler, who is a representative out there, Republican in New York, drawing criticism from some fans, even discussion inside the locker room. So I want to ask you, as a individual who made it to the highest level of football. Now, a lot of folks can say they, made it. A lot of folks can't even say they had a successful collegiate career, yet alone make it to the NFL. You had a 10-year career in the NFL. I want to ask you, what was your reaction when you first heard about this story?
Yeah. So first, he's got every right to do it. Right. So you start with principles and you start with free speech. He had every right to do it. So I certainly don't want to go down the path of, should athletes do it? Athletes have every right, and the rest of us does. No issue with him doing it. Was it smart for his career? That I don't know. Like when I say career, I'm talking about like advertising, so anytime you take a political stance, you're going to upset, especially in our country, you're going to upset 50% of the people, right? So if you take a strong stance for Republican politician, you're going to upset the Democrats, vice versa. I think Michael Jordan had a great comment on that one.
Very true.
How come you don't ever get into politics? He said, because they're all buying sneakers and I don't want to piss them off, essentially.
That's right.
So I don't have any issue with Jaxson Dart doing that, right? That's his right, and he stand up for what he believes in. And where football is, sports in general, not just football, such a beautiful thing, is he's going to go to a locker room with, I promise you guys that are not going to like that. Some guys will like that, but that's what the country's supposed to be about, right? You're supposed to have debate. Why did you go out there for Trump, or why did you go out there for the Democratic candidate? Why do you have these views? And they're going to learn from each other. They'll probably get closer as a team. Right? They'll have conversations, and some people will change their mind one way or another. I think that's great. The biggest problem I have with all this is that don't defend Jaxson Dart, but then get upset on what Colin Kaepernick did, right? And vice versa. Don't say that Colin Kaepernick had every right to stand up for what he believed in, but said Dart shouldn't have done that. They both have the right. They both have the right to stand up for what they believe and put it out there. And they're taking a risk by putting it out there.
You literally answered my question. Well, I had the same thought with Colin Kaepernick. Like for me, when I started noticing the NFL getting I wouldn't say getting political, but it's like you start seeing the response from fans, right? Because you got to look at ownerships or team owners and the league. They're there. Football is a sport. Really, sports in general should please everybody, right? It's a sport. You come to enjoy yourself, enjoy a great game of football. Hopefully, praying that no one gets hurt. It's a game. It's a competitive game that we've all loved. And I remember just during my my high school years, because I had I didn't have the career like Lennie, but I did. I was a part of a state championship winning team, the first ever. No, not trying to brag or anything, Lennie. But I had all my friends. We were a brotherhood. Did we all agree on everything? Absolutely not. Like, I mean, I know for sure, and we never talked politics. We were in high school. We really didn't pay too much attention at that point, but we never saw eye to eye on everything, but we always knew, okay, we're, at the end of the day, we have each other's back. When it comes to football, when it comes to the game, hey, look, you got my back, I got yours, vice versa. We were still a family. But what Cap really, I guess, I wouldn't say exposed, but you start to like see how folks really felt, about politics. So you like to agree with what you're saying. You can't criticize, or you can't say, what Cap did okay, and what Jaxson Dart did isn't okay, or vice versa. Because at the end of the day, these are grown men. They have the right to do what they want, to vote who they want to vote for. Obviously, for the overall brand, it's always hard to choose a political side, right? You don't see a lot of Hollywood celebrities really openly talking about politics. Well, you do for the most part. Yeah, some do, but it's like they're always wanting to be like, oh, I don't want to talk politics because I'm worried that I'm gonna, I guess hurt my
upset half my supporters. That's right.
Exactly. Upset half my supporters. So, I think, and I watched the full video. I mean, Dart literally spoke for like not even 2 minutes, maybe 3, in introducing Trump. 23 years old. I look at it as, I don't think anybody should be upset with him now. If it was me, I'll be like, okay, let me talk with my agency. Like, was this a good branding strategy? I'm still starting up in my career. Was this smart? But he spoke about I think his grandfather served in the military. And at the end of the day, there's still folks that respect the position, right? I think we should all, I mean, just me personally, I'm always going to respect the position. Now, it's going to be hard for me to do it with this person in office right now, I'll be honest. But for the most part, I try to always respect the position, local, state, federal level. But yeah, I think what Dart did was risky, but I don't think it's the end of the world for him. I don't think he's going to get canceled or anything like that. I do think it was important to hear from, I think, his star running back at the time, who actually spoke. not supporting his decision, but he said at the end of the day, hey, we move on. We, he's still my dog. We're still, a family. I have my beliefs. He has his, but we're grown men. We have to learn how to speak up. I think that was a great shift and a great buildup just for the NFL. And I think it was great for America to like notice that, hey, look, they got all these difference of opinions, but we're working together, which we're trying to hope to, that can occur in politics in general. That's why I've always enjoyed the mission of the Forward Party, because it's like, it's not left, it's not right, but it's forward. We all have that forward mission, and to come together and work together in bipartisanship.
Yeah, and I think it's what social media takes away from the world, is social media puts you in these little bubbles where all you are is with people that are saying exactly what you say, what you think, what you hear. And, on a team, just like you're talking about with high school, your buddies didn't all agree with everything. I mean, granted, in high school, I wasn't thinking about politics either, but your buddies didn't agree with everything you said. But they probably saw how hard you worked on the football team. And if they had a disagreement with you, said, man, I like this guy. I see what he's doing out there. He's fighting for the team. If he thinks something different than me, maybe I should take some time and think about that. Why? Where's he coming from? And I bet you that people are speaking with Jaxson Dart, and they're learning where he's coming from and why he thinks that way. And hopefully some people are moving to Jaxson Dart and saying, I really respect that. And I'm glad he did it, and I've learned more about him. And on the flip side, hopefully Jaxson Dart is saying the same thing. Why did people get frustrated with that? What are they seeing that I'm not seeing, and how can I learn? We need more of that, right? We don't need us sticking in bubbles and saying, oh yeah, I'm only going to go with people that agree with me and get fired up about the same things and never willing to tell me no. We need more of, let's have a debate. Let's have a discussion, right? If we agree on everything, that's going to be boring podcast. It's going to be boring everything else.
Absolutely. I will say, I think it's if Jaxson Dart was a QB of maybe primarily a red state, I don't think he would receive as much criticism. I don't know. I just maybe because it's New York, being how I don't know. Maybe that's it. I don't know. What's your take? But I'm just thinking in my head. I'm like, is it because
New York is just the biggest media? Yeah, it's the biggest media center in the world, right? Like, if you're playing for the New England Patriots or the Green Bay Packers, Seattle, I mean, I'm sorry, it's like all those teams combined don't have the media presence in New York, right? So it's gonna make more national news just coming from New York. It just is.
Yeah. I think I think it should brush by, but it will probably be brought up in the in the preseason or the start of the beginning. I mean, it's people are always gonna remember and be like, okay, remember the off-season stories involving yada yada and this and that and the other. So it will it will be interesting. But at the end of the day, I think that all athletes should be more than willing to open up and speak their political beliefs without being criticized, regardless of if you agree with the person that they are in support of or if you disagree. Again, freedom of speech. You have the right to do so. It's your right to vote who you want to vote for. And I think I think you should have the right to. It will be difficult. And I actually had an episode like this a while back where I was explaining public figures have to be aware of the response they will receive if they are seen voting for or supporting Donald Trump. I mean, I think we can agree that Trump is a little controversial, right? Sometimes,
sure, absolutely,
and it's definitely not. It's definitely if you're seen hugging up on him or cheesing with them and everything, it's like, oh, I don't know, like it's very hard for anybody in the public eye to be like, hey, look, I support this guy, and they think they'll wake up the next day just like everything is all hunky dory, and I'm just I'm cool like that. Like it comes with a gamble.
Yeah, so Trump raises passions, good and bad, right? So there's very few people that are like, Donald Trump. They either love him or they hate him, right? There's very few people that don't have an opinion on it. What I would say to fans is, if you were always a New York Giants fan, I hope you're still a New York Giants fan. I hope if the New York Giants go to the Super Bowl, you're pulling for them, and you're not making your fan choice based on the politics of players. And the other thing I'll say, and this is just a general statement, Jaxson Dart or anyone else, don't take political advice from a 23-year-old. right? So like he's a young man who's doing what he thinks is right. He's got every right to do it. I hope it drives great debate in the locker room. But people shouldn't be taking political advice, honestly, from athletes or Hollywood movie stars or anything else. Make your own opinion.
Amen.
If you're a Giants fan, man, hope they win the Super Bowl. That's it.
Amen to that, man. Look, I think that's a good segue to move on to our next conversation, man. I want to talk about the redistricting battle happening in just really across this nation. So I spoke a lot about the redistricting just because it was going on in my home state of Virginia. Virginia started off, I think, in February, talking about pursuing a 10-1 congressional map change, which I'll be honest, I was not all in agreement with this. Really, I wasn't in favor of gerrymandering in general, but you know, we had a 6-5, and they were spending millions and millions of dollars saying, hey, look, we have a 6-5 and we want fair elections. Let's go to a 10-1. I'm like, let's be honest, that's a bit harsh, but I understood where the root was coming from, because hey, we had an administration that is hitting up states saying, hey, look, give me 5 seats. I need extra seats. I need all these seats so I can keep power in Congress. And so I understood why they did so. Maybe it would have been nice, I don't know, at 8-3, but I mean 6-5. I'm like, or 10-1. I'm like, that's kind of pushing it. But long story short, in Virginia, we had this long redistricting battle, and voters, over 3 million people, actually voted in favor and said, hey, look, I'm for it. Let's go ahead and change the maps, because they obviously noticed what was going on with this administration, not agreeing with the tactics and that was going on, like in Texas and other states. And so that change was made. It was led by majority Democratic elected officials, even though it was a nonpartisan issue. But for the most part, we all knew it was left versus right in this case. And Supreme Court struck it down. So now they're keeping the 6-5 maps here in Virginia until the census cycle, which I think will be in 2030. So that ended up turning it back and being a win for the Republican Party. I'm bringing this up, Lennie, because you are, been an advocate for ranked choice voting, and also being a member of the Forward Party. There is no, party has power. No, not what's the word I'm looking for. Neither party has power, right? It's all about working together for the greater good, for the people. Gerrymandering in general, for me, takes the power out of the voters, takes the power out of the people. And all it does is just benefits a political party, whoever has a majority, because if it was the opposite, and Republicans, wanted to pursue it, they would be all in favor for it. And vice versa. I mean, it's like, it gets comical, but we've seen time and time again when a redistricting battle occurs, it's like, okay, we need this, we need that, we need that, we need this. North Carolina did a redistricting, if I'm not mistaken, where I know you guys currently have a 10-4, 10 Republicans, 4 Democrats, and they now doing a redistricting battle, hoping to unseat some Democratic
to get one
officials.
seat. To get one seat. One seat. They're trying. They try to gerrymander out Representative Don Davis, who is considered, and this is not just hyperbole, he's considered one of the most bipartisan congressmen in all of Congress. So yes, he's a registered Democrat, but considered the most bipartisan politician in Congress, which is what we want, right? That stands for what the Forward Party is, and he's a forward aligned candidate. And this is not the first time they've tried to gerrymander Representative Don Davis out. This is the second time, if not the third. So he's got an uphill battle, right? So they gerrymandered his hometown. He was the mayor of his hometown for like 10 years. They gerrymandered the hometown out of his district, right? So I want to take a step back and kind of give a big picture of, how districts are formed, right? So I'll speak to North Carolina, our neighboring state to Virginia. And initially, the districts are driven down by the United States government, right? So you do a census, and this is how many millions of people that are in the United States. This is how many representatives each state gets based on their population. In North Carolina, we get 14 senators, right? What that means is, and this is the population is the same in every state, essentially 793,000 people per district. That's how the math roughly works out, 763,93, something like that. So based on North Carolina's population of over 10 million, we get 14 congressmen to come out of North Carolina. So what all districting is saying, okay, we need to chop up the state in 14 blocks, and then have them vote for 14 congressmen. That's what districting is. California's got a lot more. Virginia has maybe a little less.
Texas has a lot more too.
Yeah, it's population based. So yeah, Texas is going to have a lot more, just purely based on population. And then you do it beyond just the congressional level to Capitol Hill. Then you do it for your state senators and your state General Assembly or Congress. So we have the 14 congressmen going to Capitol Hill, and then we've got 50 state senators and 120 congressmen in North Carolina. So we have to create districts around that. There's no magic to it, right? So when people say redistricting, what does it mean? There's no magic to it. We get allocated a certain amount of congressional representation based on population. So what then happens when the party in power, now a state party, gets to decide what those districts look like? Well, so the Supreme Court of the United States, SCOTUS of the United States, struck down the ability to create districts based purely on race. But what they allowed is they said, but there's nothing in the Constitution that says you can't do it by political party. So what parties are doing, and what happened in Virginia, which I completely was against, is that parties in power are saying, okay, how can I make these districts so that my party wins as many seats as possible? So Virginia is probably what, 55% Democrat, 45% Republican, 52-48, somewhere in that realm, right? So 6-5 kind of feels right? Without looking at the map, feels right. 10-1, what you're basically saying is, excuse the language, F you to all the Republicans in Virginia. We don't care. And that's what parties in power try to do by redistricting. In North Carolina, the Republican Party has been redistricting the heck out of North Carolina since 2010 when they took power. And you know why they're redistricting? Why they're making these districts to favor Republicans? Because when Democrats were in power, they were kicking the Republicans in teeth with their districting. And none of it makes sense, right? Like it's like giving I can't even come up with a great analogy. It's like giving a kid a set of crayons and say, you draw how you want this to work. And they're going to draw exactly what they want for themselves. That's what parties are doing. So as the vice chair of the North Carolina Forward Party, I'm leading an anti-gerrymandering task force. And the North Carolina Forward Party is going to put forward what a map would look like if you're not taking into account what people's voting habits are. You're not going to look at any voter rolls. You're not going to look at religion or ethnicity or anything else and say, we're just going to base it on what the rules are, right? So there are some simple rules, like you don't want to break up counties unless you have to. You don't want to break up towns unless you have to. But you have to in North Carolina in some counties. Wake County's got 1.3 million people. That's the county I live in. Well, if a district's only 763,000 people, guess what? You're going to break up the county. Same with Mecklenburg and maybe another county. You don't want to do that unless you have to, but you're going to have to break up some counties. But within those rules, how can you make something simple? And when I say simple, I'm thinking, okay, if my greatest enemy in the world takes these rules, what are they going to do with it? Because at some point, even if I'm in power as a Democrat or Republican, at some point it's going to flip. Absolutely. And your quote unquote greatest enemy is going to have the same rules that you played by. So how can we make these rules simple? And that's what this task force is doing. And I'm going to tell you, when we present these maps, and it's going to be just like North Carolina is supposed to have 14 congressional districts, 50 state Senate, and 120 state Congress districts, it's going to be very visible for everyone to see how we did it, why we did it. And it's not going to be partisan. We're not going to care what anybody's voting record is. We're going to do things very simple, all tied to what is required by the state constitution. And we're going to show everybody this is what the map should be. And it's not going to be the perfect map. There's no such thing as a perfect map, right? Because you got to try to keep counties together and all those things. But we're going to set it up so that I don't care who's in power. Democrats, you use it. Republicans, you use it. We're going to make the rules simple and transparent so that whoever's in power can do it every time there's a census or whenever they decide that we need to redistrict. And that's the way it should be across all states.
Man, it's a breath of fresh air hearing this initiative, because this is the first y'all I'm hearing about this. So I think this is awesome, because I just got so annoyed during the campaigning of it. And now look, I had elected officials on both sides on the show to explain exactly, okay, why is this, good for, for Virginia? Why is this good for this on the local level? And the thing is, it's really, it could care less about the local level because it's an issue that occurs in.
They're worried about national politics. That's right.
It's a national political issue, and so in my mind, again, I'm like, what is I always want to go for like, okay, what is the overall messaging that is being shared to the public? Okay, like you said, F you guys, we're gonna do F to the Republicans, we're gonna do 10-1. I'm like 6-5, 6 Democrats, 5 Republicans. It doesn't get any more fair than that. Now, the argument that to play a little devil's advocate with the elected Democrats were saying is the fact that, hey, look, we didn't start this, Trump started it, and we're finishing it. We're hoping to show an example for other states that are going to be into this, exact same issue. I mean, but it's difficult because I'm trying to see what was the state that I shouted out. I think Indiana. Indiana was like the only state, but either Indiana or Kentucky, but I want to say it was Indiana. Indiana was contacted on doing a redistricting, and they said absolutely not. Now they were predominantly a red state, that said no, we're not doing it. We're gonna. And I thought that was like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, I mean, like there's somebody out there that's like saying, okay, I'm not gonna listen to Washington. I'm gonna do what's best for the constituents here in the state of Indiana. Tennessee was a sad story. Tennessee was 8-1 and they just went to 9-0 now. Yep. And so it's just like it's ridiculous. Now, Lennie, this task force, now I know right now is for North Carolina, but has this been brought up on like a national level to the national party?
So we want to be an example, right? Yeah. So we want to start with North Carolina and focus on what a fair map that takes out all those things that are people trying to game the system, and just say, look, this is just simple population-based, math-based, trying to keep counties together, but this is what a map would look like, and then hopefully use that as a template for other states, right? Mm-hmm. So that would be how it gets rolled out on a national level. And there's states that are all trying to do things. There's innovative ways to try to address gerrymandering. Some states do it with a quote unquote independent commission that does it. Yeah. There's ways to game the independent commission.
Virginia had one of those. I mean, cut you off, but Virginia had one of those. Yeah.
And then they threw it out. They're like, oh yeah, but we're going to go 10-1 Democrats, right? So that's why if it's just a simple rules-based thing, mm-hmm. that, the Supreme Court just said you can't take race into consideration, but mm-hmm. Party is not commented on in the Constitution, whose job is to come out and actually say, we don't want party to be allowed in district maps? It's Congress. It's not the Supreme Court's job. We need Congress to freaking do their job. Yeah. Right. That would be the simplest thing. Put for the United States Congress to put forth a comment that says politics are not allowed to be considered when drawing district maps. Period. Right. And that way states wouldn't be able to do it if they wanted to. Simpler said than done, but a very clean, very simple bill to help address this gerrymandering issue. But yeah, we would love for the map that North Carolina is going to put together, North Carolina Forward Party to put together, to be a template. Mm-hmm. And we don't know, we're not going to care what the outcome is. We're not going to care if it's more competitive or less competitive. We're not going to care if it favors Republicans or Democrats, because if you create rules that that's what you're trying to do, then guess what happens? Next time the other party's in power, they're going to use those rules to make it favorable for them. We're going to take all those rules away. This is simple, right? Population-based, split North Carolina up into 14 congressional districts, and we'll show you the very simple, basic model on how we're going to do
it. It's like I'm loving what I'm hearing. It's so hard because you have a political climate or political system mm-hmm. where it's like there's so much, greed, and it's so much like I want the power and this and that. That's the hard part. I think that's why I'm starting to go gray right here on the beard. That's just
I've got to beat.
You got me beat. You got me beat. But hey, I'm like, it kills me because I hope for things like this to happen and to occur, and it's just like, yet you have a large community of individuals that I want the power right now. I want to do this and that. So it's unfortunate. But overall, Lennie, with this redistricting happening right now, because we're still in midterms, and we're going to come back to talking about a few key races happening mm-hmm. in the state of North Carolina. But overall, do you ever see, redistricting ever like going away? I mean, I feel like that's like a, crazy question to ask, but why not? I mean, we have so many voters, right? We have, upcoming candidates. We have new candidates, new faces that are hoping to run for that are running for Congress right now, that are also, in the same mindset as us, like, man, we really don't need this. We got to do something to take away redistricting. We have a census cycle for a reason. Every 10 years, okay, boom, we change it. Every 10 years we change it. But what's your
yeah, so what I would, so it's not going to be simple. It's not going to be easy, right? And I think it has to be combined with a few other election reforms to for sure get done. But one way that we're going to try to do it in North Carolina Forward Party is when we create these maps, we're going to be showing it to officials that are running for 2028 and 2030, and try to get them to support it before they get elected. Right. So to say, yes, if I'm elected, I'm going to stand for free and fair maps for North Carolina. And if we get enough Republicans and enough Democrats to commit to it before their elections, then when they get elected, it's going to be really hard for them to back out. Right. So that's our goal. And, you were talking, you made a comment that I wanted to address, that, the Virginia Democrats were saying, well, we're really doing this because Trump called up Texas in mid-cycle and said, hey, find me 5 new districts, and Texas did it, so we're going to do it. You can go back 100 years to look at the Democrats doing it and the Republicans doing it. And it reminds me of like either gang wars or mafia wars. Well, they killed my brother's uncle, aunt, sister, whatever, 70 years ago.
It's time to respond. It's time to respond.
That's right. It's never going to. So both sides can very easily point to the other side and say, well, they did it first and they did it like, that's crazy. So you need some adults in the room to say, this is tearing the country apart. Let's stop it. And what I would have loved to seen Virginia do instead of what they did is, take Virginia, take North Carolina, take Indiana, Illinois, too big because the states run it, right? I mean, the states have the right to setting their elections. So 2 states that have gerrymandered the shit out of it. Actually, you know what? Let's take California and Texas, right? 2 states on the opposite end of the political spectrum.
Yep.
And they come together. They get 2 leaders to really come together. Clearly, the 2 guys there now ain't going to do it, but they get 2 leaders to come together and say, look, I'm going to make a little. We're going to take the North Carolina Forward's template plan, and we're going to put it in California and Texas. But it only will get implemented if the other state puts in writing and has it signed off by their state Supreme Court that this is what will happen. Right. So you have to make it. It's like a denuclearization pact. Right. I'll take off my weapons if you take down your weapons. California will agree to a fair district map, the way that North Carolina's template is going to be. Texas is going to agree to the same, but it only gets implemented if they both launch it together. Yeah. And that's a way that you can really incentivize 2 states that have gerrymandered the crap out of the states in this cycle to take down the temperature, right? And lead by example and be an example for the rest of the country. And if you have 2 giant states that do that, right, and make it so, make the state so that at the end of the day, there's about equal districts. And California's going to have more right now, so you can get another state in, whatever. But to do that so that the world sees what America sees what leadership is about, because that's how you get, nuclear arm races to take down. You take down a few of yours, I'll take down a few of mine. Then you take down a few more, and I'll take down a few more. That's what the countries need, in my opinion, to really end this districting war. So that's big picture. Other ways to do it: put in term limits.
Yeah.
Right. If you put in term limits and a politician on his way out says, man, I saw what this districting just absolutely destroyed the ability for us to debate and try to pass real laws. I'm done. I'm out. I'm going to vote for this North Carolina Forward Party map. Right. Because they know they're on their way out. Term limits would help a lot of those problems.
Woo. Term limits will help a lot of problems, Lennie. What you talking about? Term limits will help a lot of problems. Don't get me started with term limits. But I want to digress from this. I want to move it on to another convo, man. UFC at the White House. Like, I mean, look, I'm an MMA fan, right? I enjoy watching the fights. But I will say though, when I heard about this event, UFC 250, celebrating the 250-year anniversary of the United States, but also happens to be on the same day of the president's birthday too. How ironic. And I'm not a fan of it. I'll be honest. Fighter Bryce Mitchell, who's a UFC fighter, really sharp cat. He had said, hey, look, I'm an economics major. I would have loved to have been on that card. I'm not knocking anybody that's competing on this card. But at the end of the day, it's a quote. He said, the government is supposed to protect, not entertain us. And I was like, ooh, I felt that right there, Bryce. I hear you. Because at the end of the day, it's like, how many more spectacles do you need at the White House lawn? And I mean, look, even Joe Rogan, who's a UFC commentator, said on his podcast, like, I don't know how I feel about having a fight outside of the White House lawn. Like, it's the image of, the barbaric fighting on the lawn outside of the White House is just kind of, I kind of look at it funny. When it comes to, again, sports, because I mean, obviously, look, you've had champions, NBA finals, NFL, Super Bowl champs, anybody that, achieves something, whether it's national, they attend the White House for a ceremony, right? They always do. But you never really see entertainment that occurs there. I mean, do you really think do you think folks are overreacting on the backlash, I guess, the White House and the administration has been facing, and UFC, I guess, have been facing on having this event on the White House lawn?
I think the backlash was a little much, honestly. So I would say what we just talked about, right? Mm-hmm. Changing gerrymandering rules, adding term limits, like those are things that can dramatically change the political atmosphere we're in, right? And have huge impacts on America's future political debates and how we think through, important laws and get good, credible people elected in our offices. They're having a UFC event in front of the White House. I like UFC. I'll watch it. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, if we make big deals out of everything, then nothing's a big deal, right? So, true. I'm a UFC fan. I hope they don't. Honestly, it's gonna. The statement's gonna be fun. It's gonna be funny coming out of my mouth. I hope they don't politicize it. I hope they just have a UFC event. I hope they have UFC 250. And it's just a great UFC event. I'm all for it, right? I don't want to make a big deal out of everything, right? Like let's focus on the really important things. And President Trump, you can say anything you want about him. The man is a good marketer. He knows it's a popular sport. People are going to watch it. He likes the image. I'm going to watch it. It's a fight. I like watching the fights.
Yeah, I fall like honestly like 50-50 with it. So being an avid UFC watcher, like if a lot of folks when you're watching pay-per-view fights, I'll say a good 75% of the time you're gonna see the president at the UFC fights. Like, I mean, that him and Dana White, they're good friends. Dana White spoke at most of his he was on the campaign trail with him, and so UFC and President Trump, that's not like not normal. Like for me, it's like it's not foreign. Yeah. It's pretty normal. I think just overall, when folks are saying, "Hey, look, I'm more worried about just the climate going on in the country, right? Affordability is not looking so affordable. Gas prices are still quite high. There's still a war going on. We just don't know what to believe when it comes to this administration." And now we're worried about, this. I think that's where you see a lot of vulnerable people kind of respond saying, wow, we were, he's attending other sporting events. It's like, I think they will want a little more accountability, but like actually seeing it. But it's hard to see it when it's like you see, I guess, events like that. So that's where I kind of like, I'm 50-50. So I'm at the level where it's like, I think it's kind of like, what's the big deal? And then I'm like, well, I kind of get it because for example, and then I'll move it on because I know we're running a little low on time.
You can always have me back. That's all right.
I know, right? When California had their wildfires out in Los Angeles or Altadena, I think it was, and around that period where like homes were still, really recovering, people were frustrated. They were sad. Their homes just burned down, and Newsom was promoting a new podcast he had called like the. I'm like, that was the worst thing you could have done, my friend, because it's like, for one, I'm not a big fan of like current elected officials with a radio show or podcast. Now, if you're a former, you know, you have the right to do whatever you want to. But I just feel as though, like, when you're an elected official at that, you know, that current position, like, you promote a podcast, hey, I'm gonna have a conversation with Steve Bannon. I'm like, it's maybe a little poor timing. So that being said, with the events that are occurred right now, you know, you got a lot of renovations happening at the White House. Now you got this. I think it's just the timing might be a little just too much, and then it sucks that it happens to be on his birthday too. So now they're gonna be like, oh, okay, is this really a UFC? So it's just bad. I guess bad PR.
So I think those are I think those are two different questions, right? So your first question is, what do I think about the UFC at the White House? I'm gonna love to watch it. Was it smart for Donald Trump to do? That's a different question, right? Yeah, everything you just mentioned, right? People are worried about gas prices. They're worried about healthcare costs. They're worried about, can they pay off their student loan debts? They're worried about the economy. They're worried about the war in Iran. So does it make sense for Trump to put his time and energy into UFC? That's a different question, right? That's judging the politician on where he's spending his time. But for me personally, I have no issue with the UFC going there. I have no issues with the fighters going there. I hope they have great fights and make a ton of money, and I'm going to watch it.
I just know it's going to be a hot ass day there, man. I mean, they're outside. It's like, it's going to be a rough one for them. Definitely want to have you back, Lennie, because I would love to talk about maybe I might even do like maybe like a congressional pre-show. I might have to have you on so we can talk more North Carolina congressional races. But I want to talk some predictions, NFL predictions, because again, you've been an expert, former NFL star. Look, Mendoza. My mother-in-law is a Raiders fan, diehard Raiders fan. What's your predictions on him? Do you think he's gonna have a big win, being a Heisman guy, just won a national title as well? I mean, he's everywhere. He's Mr. Las Vegas right now. What do you think the predictions on his inaugural season is going to be for Las Vegas? Excuse me.
It's going to be tough for him. I mean, it's a different game, right? Everything I've read about him and just watched him play, he seems to be like just a genuinely good kid. Obviously, a great quarterback. I think he will be very, very successful in the NFL. But the record of rookies coming in to a team that's not that great, doesn't have a senior quarterback to learn a ton from, doesn't have a coach that's been there forever. I think it's going to be really hard. And it typically is. But look at the kid at New England, right? If he does what the kid at New England did, right, his first year showed real promise, right? They didn't go to the Super Bowl like he did, I guess, second or third year. I can't remember last year was second or third year, but I think Mendoza will struggle his first year, as all rookie quarterbacks do. Just because it's a different game, it's a faster game. You're learning a lot more. The defenses are going to test you, but I think he's got great potential, and I think he can be a really good quarterback. But I would not predict year one.
Yeah, I'm more nervous the fact that he won a Heisman. Like I've been seeing
the Heisman curse.
Like the Heisman curse is real, man. I mean, the last strong Heisman great career, I would say. Even though he had to turn back his Heisman. Like, I'm a Reggie Bush fan, so I'll say Reggie had majority of Reggie's career was solid. I think maybe the last 2-3 years, maybe. But Cam Newton came out like guns blazing when after his Heisman. I think he did win the Heisman. Yeah, he did win the Heisman out of Auburn. So I thought he had a great career. But yeah, man, for the majority, I'm like, a lot of Heisman QBs. I don't know about that, man. It'll be interesting to see.
It's tough, right? Like their record. There was a guy, I can't remember. I don't want to bring up a name because it's just making someone bad. But Heisman Trophy records are not great with guys going to the NFL. For sure. The team, who I'm interested to see play this year is my Browns got rid of Myles Garrett, who's.
I was just about to say. I
was
just about to say that Myles freaking Garrett now still 95, but with the new squad and a fat new contract. I think they said like 5 years, $204 million. Wow.
Deservedly so.
Very deserved. I mean, the man's he's a tank. He's literally a walking tank. And when I heard about that, I was like, oh wow. So, I feel sorry for your Browns, man. I mean, look, one player can't, fully, just bring down, but he was a key player, especially, defense, man. Defense, he was like a solid franchise player. You brought him up, man. Predictions for his season in the Rams, man. Great.
I think they're going to be good. Yeah, I think they're going to be. They were already solid, and then you have an LT like guy on the team. And I saw a picture in your background, your intro. You had Bruce Smith out there, right? Like those guys are game changers, and that's what Myles Garrett is. It's not like people don't know Myles Garrett, right? They know him. They're trying to block him. They're chipping him with tight ends and running backs, and he's still dominating. Yeah. He's and I had some friends of mine from when I was with Cleveland, some of the younger guys that were there with Myles. Joe Thomas is one of them, and just rave about the guy. Just, a phenomenal ball player, incredible athlete. So, when you have a guy that good, you and I don't even think it was on the podcast when we started talking. We started talking about how I feel bad that Patrick Ewing and Charles Barkley didn't get an NBA championship, right? These great ball players. Myles Garrett, I would love to see him get an NFL championship. He's that good. He's that special. So as much as it pains me, I don't think he would have done that at Cleveland. Cleveland needs a new quarterback, needs a lot. So happy for him, and I hope he does really, really well.
Yeah, he's now playing for a Super Bowl who won a Super Bowl 2-3 seasons ago. So they're still fairly, still a great squad. Matthew
with
Stafford,
an offensive mind coach. Yeah,
there you go. It's looking real solid for him. It's just Myles, man, Myles. That guy's just when I heard about that, I was just okay. Yeah, gotta ask Lennie about this, man. His Browns took a huge loss there, but I will say though, it will still be. I don't know. With so much attention being on the Rams, not to say that he's going to have not trying to predict a bad season for Myles Garrett, but it's just something about where all the attention is brought on one player's. I don't know. Maybe it can bring down some a little slight curse to the team, because I remember when and I don't have time. I don't know if it was Khalil Mack or what's the with Dallas, he ended up getting traded to or signed.
Green Bay.
Green Bay, yeah. He had a great season, but overall, it's not really, what folks really predicted. He got a good payout, well deserved though.
Yeah. So the flip side is also true though. Yes, all the attention goes to that one guy, but then it takes the attention off of Stafford, who might now not have to carry the burden of everything, right? It takes the attention off the head coach. Everybody's focused on him. The rest of the guys can take a deep breath and just play because you got the superstar out there. Meaning that's where all the attention is. I think he's going to have a huge impact.
Awesome. Lennie Friedman, I appreciate you, my friend. If you don't mind, I would love to chop it up with you just for a couple seconds after this show.
Great.
But how can folks continue to follow you, support, and all the great stuff that the North Carolina Forward Party is doing?
Yeah, so first go to our website, NorthCarolinaForwardParty.com. Support the Forward Party. We're trying to get on the ballot in North Carolina. That takes a lot of money and effort. We're 100% all volunteer organization. So myself, the president, everybody as part of this organization doesn't get paid a dime, but we do need money to help us run the events, go to the events, get signature gathering. So go to our website, check us out, and if you like what we're doing, donate.
Awesome. Ladies and gents, Lennie Friedman. Lennie, I appreciate you, my friend. Take care.
Thank you.
All right, my friends, I hope you enjoyed yet another great convo here on the Arrington Gavin Show. As always, look, stay safe out there, stay blessed, stay informed. We got big elections happening. It's midterm season. So like I said, always stay informed. The more you know, the more you grow. I'll talk to you soon for another great convo here on the Arrington Gavin Show. I'm out.
That's it for tonight on the Arrington Gavin Show. Thanks for tapping in and keeping the conversation alive. Don't forget, stay connected with us on all platforms. Follow at Arrington Gavin on Instagram, Blue Sky, and X, and subscribe to the official Substack for exclusive takes and deep dives you won't get anywhere else. We're here every weeknight, same time, same energy, same real talk. Until next time, stay bold, stay sharp, and stay true. That's what we do on the Arrington Gavin Show. Peace.